Okay, so here we are in Daylight Prairie. And I am lighting candles, doing what it tells me to do. And here are the spirits that I met in Isle. I can tap on the red dot and I get a free hair as well. So the first hair in that one is free. Now you see a little icon telling me that I have a hairstyle to collect. And here's another point, this is the other emote I got. And I have a hairstyle there too that is free. Most of the hairstyles cost hearts, but this one is free. Those two are free. They kind of got a boy hairstyle and a girl hairstyle. Though of course, doesn't mean if you're a boy you have to wear the boy one, or if you're a girl you have to wear the girl one. Plenty do not. Let's see, okay, so I guess we go this way. And I am editing together everything in sequence rather than going back and forth. Though there are two places you can't get to immediately. This level is circular, so you can, everything is connected to each other. You can get from place to place to place, multiple connections. So this first area here is fields. And that's a TGC given name a while back. It's not really used much now, but you will see references to it. This is fields, or butterfly fields. And it has an exit to caves, an exit to villages, and an exit to nest. And then it can also go back towards Isle. You see we have a few constellation gates in here. And here is an emote, big green glowing thing. And I missed it. Missed it. That was dopey. Okay. Let's go back and try again. This was actually really hard to get these together in one go. I had to go back and forth a few times. So here's our first emote of Prairie. All the butterflies. And he is wearing a yellow cape and a hairstyle. Pretty sure that's a hair, yeah, I think he has a hairstyle. The spirits, and I just thought to say this now because somebody brought it up, are not necessarily wearing everything you can get. So just because they're wearing something doesn't mean you can get it. You have to be really careful to look at the emote map and the image there. And the best thing to do is go to the wiki and just look on the wiki at what you'll get, because there's very clear pictures there. You can forge a candle. And so we would just watch that spirit go to the temple. And you know we have to visit that temple in order to buy anything from that spirit. Okay, so now ahead we can see a big green constellation gate that basically is telling us we do not have access to this area. But I'm going to go there anyway just to show it. This goes to caves, and you need emotes from Isle and Prairie, which we haven't gotten enough emotes from Prairie yet. You notice in Isle you need 2 emotes, not just 1. So you do need to find that second emote. Obviously you can't get the 3rd emote just yet. I'm going to fly over here. Oh, down here we have a constellation gate also that required 1 emote from Prairie. We have this. And this takes us to a star child, a child of light, or what is it? Winged light. And over here we had another little gate, which is now accessible. All the butterflies. That's why it was called Butterfly Fields. The Butterfly Fields name comes from when this area was first introduced in the beta. It was the butterfly fields. And that's what it was actually called. There was a little quest called, it was butterfly fields. It was a little, named on the screen. Butterfly fields, villages, and and there was a little quest that had that name. It was very cute. They introduced the quests, which they've now taken out, but they named them all. And so sometimes you'll see reference to fields. You won't see reference to villages so much. Nest, you will see references to, and this is to Nest, which I can't get into right now because I don't have enough emotes. That's where you get a bird sound. So we will head over to the only place we can go right now. Collect a little candle wax on the way. These levels, these areas are so pretty. Everybody loved when they added all this because Prairie used to be much smaller, more confined. So here I'm going to do something. I'm cutting to a different character. Well, I'm not cutting to a different character. I'm cutting to a different thing. I'm going to make some cuts here because I want to kind of show everything and how everything is connected. So you can see we had the 3 entrances from fields into the 3 areas. And now there's an entrance to the 3 areas here too. So if we go to the left, we will see the entrance to caves right over there. I have very little cape power, so having to use the clouds, which you can get pretty high using the clouds all on your own. So this is to caves here, for which you need more of the emotes from Isle and Prairie. And then over yonder, we're going to run over and see this real quick before we do the level. To the right there is fields again. And then right here is, so that was fields. And then right here is the bird nest or nest. And we just need more emotes from Prairie for this one. So we'll just have to collect those emotes before we can go in here, and then that green shield will disappear. So we'll head back over to the fields so that we can then do the level correctly. And you can see the big beehive looking, people call it the muffin rock or something like that. So now we have villages. Again, the name comes from a quest that was named in the game sometime back in the beta. Prairie used to be one small area with a lot of the things from these other areas. Although mostly now, I think, bird nest. Trying to light doors doesn't always work. Bird nest and villages have the things that used to be in the smaller Prairie area. And a few things have disappeared completely from the old. So in here we have a star child. And we also have an emote. These emote sequencers are just too adorable. Whoever created these were a little bit tedious to do when you had to collect emotes over and over and over again. Like you did in the early beta, because that's how you upgraded emotes, was by collecting them over and over again. So for a little while in the interim period when we had both had to collect emotes over and over again, plus had these long sequences, it was a little bit tiresome. Back in the early days, you simply lit a little shrine and the emote just played out. There wasn't a big, some of them had big long scenes, most of them did not. It was just the character, the spirit doing the emote. And that was it. They started adding these and people were just delighted with them. They're just wonderful, showing little snippets of life. And then they introduced the wing buffs and stars, and you're like, well, now we never get to see the emotes more than once. So now you can. They have that in the quest. They have a relive this spirit. So this one's applause or clapping. Of course, clapping doesn't mean the same thing in every country, so bear with us. It's made in America. Somebody said to introduce a thumbs down, a thumbs up and thumbs down emote. I'm like, those don't mean the same thing in every country either. But anyway. Right there you can see a message candle space right there. And at those spaces, I didn't stop at any of them, but at those spaces you can leave a message candle. And that's another way to get hearts, is if you leave a good message that people like a lot, they'll like it. And if you get enough likes on it, then you get a heart on in your home space. And you'll see it. It's pretty obvious if you get one. But it's another way to gain hearts. It can be slow, very slow going way though, because you have to get people to like it, and first you have to get them to see it, which is also not easy. At first they're only visible to your friends, and if your friends like it, then it's visible to everybody. And I think you also have a limited time that they're even there. So here's another emote. This guy is waving. Somebody took a picture. This guy is waving. And this, unlike most of the emotes, have 4 levels, 3 upgrades, the main emote and 3 upgrades. This one has 5 upgrades. Only 2 emotes have 5 upgrades. All the rest just have 3. Yeah, all of them. There used to be an exception to that, but that emote's not in the game anymore. So now we send that spirit to its temple. And of course we have to visit that temple before we'll be able to buy any of the cosmetics of that spirit. So the spirit won't show up in the next level either, where we saw the Isle spirits at the beginning of Prairie. If we don't visit the temple, the spirits won't show up. Here's another star. Also, when you go to tap on them in your home space, it won't do anything. So just remember, if you can't access the spirit map of an emote that you can see you have, you need to go visit the temple at the end of the level. And I'll point that out again when we get there. Here's another star. Oof, overshot. Main upgrade. We're going to head back over here because we forgot an emote through this 2 doors. There are 2 two-person doors in this level. No, there are 3 two-person doors. This is the second one we've seen. And these are the first ones multiplayer doors we've seen in the game. The other one was the other emote over left of where we are. So this is when, companionship, having a friend, or calling for a stranger to help you. And that happens. If you found yourself alone and you tap on yourself, you can see if there's other people in the area by seeing the little image, the little icon on the screen. And you can just tap yourself to call. And most of the time somebody will come to help you. In the beta that got hard to do because there were so few people playing, but in the live version there's people everywhere almost all the time. It's very rare to find a level that doesn't have somebody else in it. That's been the most astonishing thing about from beta to live, is you didn't really have a concept of how that was going to change when the game went global, because we were used to playing with who we were playing with, and the number of people, which has brought its share of problems, but it's just staggering the number of people. I'll show it here in a minute at one place that requires many people, and it's like I just had to sit there and wait for a few minutes, and there they were. And that never happened in the beta, ever. There just weren't enough people playing. It was occasional, you know, if there was a big update, then you'd get all kinds of people. But they were usually in one area. They weren't spread through the game. So it was hard to get just by chance 4 people in one place, all who could help do something. So it's been really nice. I think that part's been really nice in the live, is having all those people come to play. Not having to rely on knowing everybody because there's so many strangers. So here's another emote. And this is also the butterfly doors. And that's one that requires a specific emote, and that's the emote you got in Fields, the butterfly catcher. And we're going to go there in a second. They did make a change to that door just recently. It now has a constellation gate blocking entrance, and you need to have all of the emotes. All of the emotes from Prairie, or just 4? No, it had to be like 6. I'll have to see, because I couldn't get in it at this point. This little funny sequence. For a little while in the beta, this emote was bugged, and so they took it out. We were all very upset about that because new players couldn't laugh. Yeah, we didn't like that. We gave them a hard time about that. New players can't laugh. So they finally put it back in. You hear a door closing somewhere. Yep, and somebody just lit the last temple, and that's how you get through the level, is these these bell towers. That says all 3, and then you get this long sequence that you can never skip, which is unfortunate, of the mantis coming out. Here we are, and now we're going to go back down to the butterfly doors and open them, because I forgot to do that. So you need the butterfly catcher, and this is the first one you're going to come to. There's a little button on the screen you can see saying to use that emote. So you tap the button to use that emote. You don't just use it from your emote menu. You tap the button to use the emote. Wait for the door to open. So I've got 5 emotes. How many do I need? 6. So I'm pretty sure I need the other emote that I can't get to. So in order to make this video as complete as I can, I'm going to go ahead and use video of a stream that I did getting this to work correctly. So in this case, I happen to have 8 players with me. It's actually fairly easy in the live version of the game to find 8 players randomly to be with, to do this puzzle together. It can take a little bit of waiting time, but pretty much it's been pretty good in the live version of getting people in here just randomly. Which was a little bit of a surprise. We didn't really expect that to happen. In the beta, it was very hard to do this without kind of an arrangement between 8 players calling out to people on Facebook or somewhere. But in the live version, it seems to have really, really done pretty well with being populated here. So it's a little hit and miss how quickly this thing works. Sometimes it's very quick to get everybody situated and lighting, and sometimes it's almost like you barely got to touch it and it's lit and going. Other times it takes a little while. If your flame doesn't come out for a button, you can take it out manually and light the button that way. That happens a lot. And you know when it's going to happen when you hear it, a sound saying that it's happening. So we are now going up on the elevator. I didn't take a good picture of that, but we are going up. And up here there are a couple of things. One is there is an emote. And once you light some of these candles, the emote will show itself. And I did turn the sound down because I was saying some other things in this video that wouldn't really apply, you know, because I was streaming this. So here's our emote. And I will show which emote it is, and you'll see it pop up on the screen. There it is. It's a high candle, raised candle emote. I had a bit of camera trouble here when I tried to show it the first time because of being little. So it's a high candle emote. And when you use this emote, you make a sundog in the air, but I didn't get it situated with people here to do it. But it's the same sundog you see on the emotes and on the Star Children and stuff. So that's what it does. So in addition to a whole bunch of candles, which are difficult to collect right now, usually they're not like this, but there's some server issues that are making some things not work quite right as TGC is getting ready for an update to the game. So there's a whole bunch of candles to collect. And then there's also a star hidden in a tree, and we will go find that. I will first forget to go find that, then make a turn to go find that. So there are two. There's one plateau. That plateau is not the one you want right now. I'm going to make a turn to this one. And this is where the star is. It's hidden inside of the tree trunk. So if you land here, and then you just use some cape energy to get up a little higher and over to the right, and you'll see the little hand come out, and that is a star child. And then we'll run over here to this little plateau thingy where everyone is praying. So you need 8 players with pray over here. There's this little shrine here, little tombstone with candles around it. And it has a little button to tap to do the pray emote. So obviously if you don't have the pray emote, that button will be gray. And it will tell you you have not learned to do this yet. So what they've tried to do is make it so that you need to have gone through Prairie once before you can get in here. On your own anyway. But pray doesn't come, the pray emote doesn't come till quite a bit later in the game, so it's very, very possible that you'll get people up here quite regularly who do not have pray, so you won't be able to do this part. But once all people have pray, you can see the little shrine lighting there. And there's music along with this, a sound along with this telling you it's working. And you just sit here for a minute until that, and everybody has to keep praying. If one person stops praying, the shrine goes down, that glow goes down, so it ruins it for everybody. So you do need to keep praying, stay in pray, and if it doesn't seem to be working, you can step out of pray and back in, just to make sure you're actually in the pray with the button. And once you have prayed long enough, a little treat pops out in the form of a little doggy, and this is Oreo. He is actually based on a real-life doggy that is often on TGC's live streams. So that is that. That is all there is here. So when you come out this door, it actually takes you up to the temple, which is a little bit funny, but that's what it does. So we're going to head back down to where we left off. Okay. So now we're back up above the butterfly cave, that butterfly door, so that we can finish the level. So if we go over here, because we've got the emotes we need now to get into Nest. So we're going to go over and head to Nest. See, the green barrier is gone. There are a couple of stars in here, and there's one emote. I didn't think to. stopped and seen if I could get in that doorway now after getting this emote in here. You might be able to. I'm always overshooting the stars. This, I think, is my favorite, still my favorite place in the game. For a little while, the music has changed. There was beautiful music in here. I'm actually not hearing any music right now. There was a beautiful music track in here that they took out and put somewhere else. Yeah, I'm not hearing any music track in here. I think the music is either buggy or they're still working on adding it. I don't know, but I don't hear anything. I'm listening with headphones. So this is your first voice that you get. So there are emotes, which are emotions or displays of an action. Point, come here, laugh, those sorts of things. And then there are voices or calls, and that's the sound your character makes when he taps on himself. When you tap on him. It didn't make any sense. So when you tap on your avatar, it makes a sound, and there's the basic one that you get. This is the one you get from this guy. You get a different voice. They changed the voices not too long ago in the beta, and not for the better in some people's opinions. I find them a little obnoxious now. I pretty much stick with the basic, but it used to be that the voice you had also changed one of the instruments, but it doesn't anymore. So a lot of these little changes. That a lot of people aren't going to notice unless they've actually paid attention. So writing the wiki, I paid attention to a lot of this stuff, and it was like, okay, I just said this happens and now it doesn't. I have to remember to change that. So that was the hard part about trying to do the wiki while the game was still in beta. So we're going to do this. We're going to go in our circle, and we're going to go back to fields now in order to get to caves, because now we're going to have what we need to get into caves. So the gateway is down below, but I just flew through to fields. So nest connects to fields and to villages. And we oopsed through the ground. Still very easy to do. And I actually, because I did this funky, I didn't go collect, so the stars shouldn't be there. We had already collected them, but I had to piece this together. So the stars that you saw just now, we had already collected in this video. It wasn't additional stars. So now we're at caves. This is the problem doing this, is I would forget things, so I'd have to go create an account real quick. Do it again, newbie. Trying to do this. It's like these big candle piles are not always going to be in the same place. They change day to day, from level to level. The red glowing emote you see over there is a seasonal emote. I did not bother with it. There is another message candle space right here that also doubles as a seasonal meditation spot. And there are stars. So first star is up in this little hole in the wall here. Oop. Ah! Bad place for a wing upgrade. I held on, I think. And there's our second star. You can see it glowing. And trust me, flying is not that easy when you're new. The controls are take some getting used to. So I make this look kind of easy now because I've had a lot of practice with this flight method. So don't feel bad if you can't, if you're having more trouble than it shows, because it is not easy. It is hard to get all this the way I'm showing it. And there are other ways you can go find a high place to start from to get them, and it keeps you from having to use too much wing energy just to get up there in the air. Okay, so now we have our next constellation gate. This says this is a different emote, or a different level. This is needing stuff from the next level, and sometimes you'll run into that. So I went ahead and scooted through here with a different account, or same account later, and inserting it. So you need, for some constellation gates, you need a emote from a future level. So something you cannot get right now, you need to replay. I got turned around in this cave. So you need to replay, go back and replay a level after you've completed the next level. And that's true here. To get this one, you need a emote, at least one emote from the next level. So it would require you to play the next level, then come back here. And somebody was doing the emote, so you don't see the whole sequence because somebody went ahead of me and helped me do it. So it's already in the room. But suffice to say, you're supposed to come down here, come up these stairs. There's a little sequence that continues. You touch it, and then you have your emote guy right here. See, this guy had helped me with the emote. He needed it too, so he must not have known it was there. He must have just been in a right place at the right time. I just remember this scene because when they added it, it was brand new. You know, they had never done these scenes before, and this scene was brand new, and this whole way of doing the scenes was brand new. And I mean, we just loved it. Everyone just loved it. It was so great. So this was the first one they did this way, and then they added a whole bunch more as they went. But this was the first one they animated in this way. And what's interesting here is, I think because of the way that emote sequence went, where I didn't see the whole thing, when I come back out here, I'm going to see the emote collectible again. And I don't think that usually happens. With some of them, they're bugged that way, but this one I could see again too. So you can see the green, and I was able to activate it. Now you can, if a player that you're with needs an emote, you'll see the sequence if they activate it, which helps you help them. I was just a little bit confused about this emote, making sure I had the emote. Didn't not get it somehow. So then we end up back at our gate, and then we're going to end up back on the other. Gotta love cuts. Other, continuing where we were. The beauty of editing. I don't usually edit my videos this way, but I felt like I wanted a run through the game without going a whole bunch of backtracking, or having to go back through. That it would make, in some places, make more sense to just go do it. Like Isle, it made more sense just to go do it, and here it made more sense to just go do it. A little harder to just go do it with the gates between Nest and Caves, because this is a circle, so you can go, there's more than one access and more than one thing to do. So plus I got it from somebody else's video, you know, so hey, I thought it was a good idea. So now I'm showing the actual way, because this was done for us on my previous run through here. I thought I'd show the actual way of doing this. Is you light every single bell tower, boink. And there's a little scene that plays with little mantis flying around. More and more mantis, light creatures coming out. See that little graphic tells you you're 2 of 3 now. Have to wait for this one. And then our third one. Okay, so we'll run over here. I keep hitting friends. And I lost the stream of birds. Dope. The idea, though, is to catch a manta, big manta. So I'm like, oh, that's not going to work. Actually, you can do it, but I'm like, no, I'm trying to do this by the book. Trying to do this the proper way. So I'm going to run down here and try to find a manta who's actually going to grab me. Just grab me. Okay. And that's how you're supposed to get up here. Supposed to. And there are 2 stars up here on the top of the temple. So this is the temple for Prairie. There's 1 star right here you can see very easily. And there is another farther up. So having friends here is very, very helpful. Even having a stranger here would be helpful if he was willing to light you or, charge you. We actually charge pretty quickly now when we're with friends. We didn't used to. It used to require you actually do a hug or high five or something. But now just holding hands is pretty good. Okay, I was clearing the red dots. Wow. This is the koi pond, by the way. You will see that referenced. That is the koi pond. There is a message candle space there. And that is your one emote from Prairie required before you can enter the temple. So in every level you have to collect at least 1 emote in order to move on. That is one of the requirements. Unless, of course, somebody is holding your hand and guiding you through, then you don't have to collect anything, because they can pull you through every doorway, every gate. So if you're holding hands of somebody who already has the emote you need to get through a gate, then you'll get through. I think this might be the only elder scene that has not been touched. This is the same elder scene that we saw my first time playing, which was over 1.5 years ago. I have to think about that. Isle has changed a little bit because who appears with you has changed, but the guy himself has not. This guy hasn't changed at all because you never saw people. And the thing that has been added is the spirits waving. So Isle and Forest, the elder actually does exactly the same thing as he always. No, the elder in Isle did change because he used to call boats, and he doesn't do that anymore. So that one did change. This one has not. This has been added right here and inserted into it for the spirits to go up. But then we go right back to, after this little sequence, you go right back to continuing the old scene. So again, this was exactly the same too, from when I first started playing. Thinking Forest changed, Valley changed, Yeah, all the others changed. All the others have changed. This is the only one that is still exactly the same with that insertion as when I started playing. So you call the butterflies to help you up. And that is all for Prairie. We move on to Hidden Forest next.